Hello everybody and welcome back yet again to another daily update video. My name is CryptoStash. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having an amazing new week. Currently it is Monday. The trading week has just started and let me tell you what is happening right now. Bitcoin has currently broken out of that value area high very easily, and as you can see right now, this value area high, it is being retested as support level and currently holding, which is very nice. This is exactly what we want to see. So basically if we draw a trend line from here, you can see this range that we were previously trading in has been broken down, and right now it has been reclaimed. Bitcoin managed to get above that value area high, and right now as you can see we did get a slight correction, but we are bouncing perfectly from that value area high, which is sitting at 119.5k. Basically what I am expecting right now, if this bounce from here holds as support, basically I am expecting a very high momentum push to the upside, basically to create a new all-time high, which would be well above our old one in my opinion. If price manages to basically hold this level right here, the weekly is looking very nice. You can see we are yet to hit that oversold level. Basically this consolidation right here looks very similar to the one that we got right here. You can see basically, and after this happened we got a very strong push to the upside. Basically we got a pump of around, if we measure from that bottom to the all-time high, we got 25%, so another 25% will potentially take us all the way up to 139, basically 140k, which is a very nice target in my opinion. Also Ethereum looks absolutely amazing right now, well above this highs right here. We are only, I think, 10 to 15% right now. We're currently almost 13% away from the all-time high from back in 2021, which is absolutely crazy in my opinion. If this all-time high gets taken out, I am expecting a very high target for it. In my opinion, we can go all the way up to 6-7k. That would be a very realistic target if the momentum continues to be strong like this. Basically, but for right now, if we want to look at a more realistic target, that would be the last yearly pivot resistance, which is sitting at $5,230 basically. And until we go there, we have another 20.8% pump. So basically potentially in September or by the end of this month, you don't know, this candle may potentially pump to the yearly pivot resistance. And if we manage to get to that yearly pivot resistance, in my opinion, price will begin to struggle right here. But if it manages to do something like this, flip it as support, then we can potentially go all the way up to $6,000-7,000 basically for it, which would be very nice in my opinion. So let me just disable this. Now let's look at some other altcoins. Solana right now struggling to get back above this range right here. You can see the value area high. We want to see Solana close a daily candle above this value area high right here. Let me just put a line so you can see, and if we go on that weekly, you can see we want to close a candle above this line right here, which is acting right now as very strong resistance. But once Solana manages to break out of it and flip it as support for real this time without losing it, then we will basically see well above $200, basically 250 to 270 is my target for Solana if it manages to break out of here. Now Sui also rejecting right here. You can see we did, after a rejection from the value area high, we are right now trading above the POC from this big macro range right here, you can see basically. And if we go on the daily time frame, right now we are bouncing from that weekly pivot, which is also from this small range right here, which is basically where price was consolidating in before, and right now it has lost it. Basically you can see, and right now the weekly pivot plus this value area row of the small range is basically acting as strong support for the price of Sui. hype, in my opinion, is another potential all-time high coming in very soon. It depends also on the Bitcoin dominance. We're gonna take a look at the Bitcoin dominance in a second, but right now you can see hype currently rejecting from that first weekly pivot resistance basically, and in my opinion it may wanna go down to that $42 zone to basically test that weekly pivot, since the weekly pivot has not yet been tested, and then in my opinion we are going to be targeting the R3, which is the last weekly pivot resistance for this week. And in my opinion, if hype gains enough momentum and the Bitcoin dominance starts dropping, we are potentially going to see new all-time high, and this would be very nice for hype if it gets above $50. Now let's look at XRP. XRP the same, rejecting from this weekly pivot R1, basically the first weekly pivot resistance, and right now it is trying to test that weekly pivot. I don't think it has tested yet, not exactly, a bit front running it, but in my opinion we are going to test that weekly pivot first, and then potentially we can see XRP try and go back to the last weekly pivot resistance, 3.63 basically. In my opinion, why I'm targeting the last weekly pivot resistances this week is because the price of the altcoins has been gaining very strong momentum. Bitcoin is ranging well above 120k. Stock market is doing absolutely amazing. You can see we are almost at the all-time high for the Nasdaq. The S&P 500 also almost at the all-time high. So basically everything is playing out really nice. I think gold is dumping, which is also nice for the stock market. So if the stocks continue to run, then gold will potentially dump or range a bit more. But this is not important right now. Let's look at some other indicators. Basically, you can see yesterday I have told you, I also did post that on X, that this liquidity right here at 120 to 121k is waiting to be swept out, and this is exactly what happened. You can see right here the price of Bitcoin absolutely smashed these liquidations, and right now you can see there are not many liquidity sitting above, so the price is cooling off a bit right now, having a slight correction, which is completely normal. But as you can see, this liquidity got taken out, textbook play, as I have told you in my previous video. Also the Fear and Greed index, we jumped back into that greed zone. You can see we are in the greed right now for Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin starts pushing even higher, we are potentially going to get up to 80 and maybe potentially above 80, which will take us into that extreme greed, which is where we might see some kind of a bigger pullback once we go into that extreme greed zone. As you know, when price goes in that extreme greed zone, we tend to have a bigger correction, but we have not yet even hit that zone. You can see the previous time where we hit an all-time high at 123k. Basically the price was just sitting in that greed zone, which is very bullish in my opinion. It was just sitting at right around 70 greed, which was pretty amazing considering Bitcoin was well above 120k before, and right now we are for a second time above 120k, and the Fear and Greed index is just sitting at 62, which is completely bullish if you ask me. This is a very important indicator to look at. Also longs versus shorts ratio. Right now we do have more longs in the market, so more buying pressure, and we are seeing this basically price is pumping. You can see on the major exchanges everybody is long right now, which is also a good indicator to pay attention of. For tomorrow we do have some very important news. CPI data, inflation data is tomorrow basically, so expected is 2.8%. we are going to be see it's going to be very important what this data will be for the price. So it might take us flying tomorrow, in my opinion, those news. It all depends. If they are good news, the stock market will start pumping to a new all-time high, and Bitcoin will follow, of course. So this will be my outlook for today, guys. I hope you liked the video. Subscribe for the channel, follow me on X, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye.